The nation's capital, Morovia. Good evening and welcome to King's Newsroom, the 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025, and I'm Newton Topa presenting stories we follow in this evening. Head of Liberia's parliamentary delegation to ECOWAS, Senator Edwin Snow, calls for stronger measures to ensure sustainability and protection of democratic governance across the sub-region. Terms Guinea-Bissau military takeover as threat to democracy. Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission resumes prosecution of latest officials accused of misappropriating funds allocated for the 2022 National Population and Housing Census. NAMO Partners Executive Director Eddie Jawolo endorses Senator Darius Dillon's proposed bill calling for the reduction of all lawmakers' salaries from US 8,000 to US 5,000 monthly, urges Liberians to petition their lawmakers to support the bill. And away from Liberia, Kenya's parliament has accused British soldiers of decades of sexual abuse, killings, human rights violations, and environmental destruction while training in the country. These plus the news bulletin, our international developments, and our package. But we are taking a very short break to be right back. Thanks for rejoining. At this juncture, we cross over to St. Andrews with the news bulletin.
The head of Liberia's parliamentary delegation to ECOWAS, Senator Edwin Snow, has emphasized the urgent need for stronger measures to ensure the sustainability of peace and the protection of democratic governance across the sub-region. Senator Snow's remarks follow the November 26 military coup in Guinea-Bissau, during which the military announced that they had seized full control of the country. Addressing ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja, Nigeria, Senator Snow condemned the military takeover in Guinea-Bissau, describing it as a threat to democratic stability in West Africa. According to him, he and other members of ECOWAS Electoral Observer Mission had engaged all stakeholders, particularly the candidates, in an effort to encourage acceptance of the election results in the interest of preserving peace and stability in Guinea-Bissau. Snow expressed dismay at the manner in which the military allegedly hijacked state authority, asserting that such action undermines the core principles and values of democracy. The Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission has resumed prosecution of alleged officials that are entangled in the census corruption case. In 2022, former senior officials of Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services were accused of misappropriating funds allocated for the 2022 National Population and Housing Census. The Anti-Graft institution, in a press statement issued Wednesday, said the case formally resumed before Criminal Court A following the selection and induction of a 15-member jury. NEMOD, National Youth Movement for Transparent Election Executive Director Eddie Jawolo, has made a compelling case in support of Senator Ibrahim Darius Dillon proposed reduction of all lawmakers' salary from 8,000 United States dollars to 5,000. Eddie Jawolo challenged Liberians to place calls and text their lawmakers as a means of petitioning them to support the proposed salary reduction bill. According to him, Senator Dillon bill proposed reducing lawmakers' salary to 5,000, adding that as a voter, citizens can make a difference. Eddie Jawolo also wants citizens to use the legislative engagement guide to understand the lawmaking process, stating that the bill, if passed, would save the country 4 million annually. The ruling Unity Party has announced that none of its partisans will be allowed to use NTA buses for transport during the December 6 Homecoming and Fundraiser program. The announcement was made Tuesday through the Congress National Youth Chairman and Deputy Managing Director at the National Transit Authority, Toga Sifas. The Solidarity and Trust for New Day has vowed to resist any attempt to detour its peaceful protesters from staging protests on the road between the Executive Mansion and Capitol Building on December 17. STAN National Chairman Molba Molu said no amount of negotiation, hot water tanks, and bullets from the Liberia National Police will deter the December 17 protests from taking place at the property of the Liberian people. Mr. Molu, during a press conference, argued that if the group that staged the protest against the proliferation of dangerous drugs could be allowed to stage protests on the road between the Executive Mansion and the Capitol Building, STAN cannot be stopped from staging its peaceful protest at the front of the Executive Mansion. He pointed out that December 17 code name Lead or Leave Enough is Enough protest will be sustained until President Joseph Boakai can respond to the demand of the protesters. Several members of the Liberia National Bar Association have begun expressing dissatisfaction in the bar's president, Bono Varma, ahead of its annual convention in Ganta. The internal discontent among members of the bar stemmed from Councillor Varman's appointment and subsequent confirmation as chairperson and chief executive officer of the Law Reform Commission of Liberia. A senior member of the Liberia National Bar Association who spoke to King's FM on anonymity wants Councillor Bono Varma to immediately resign as president of the bar to focus on new portfolio. He argued that serving as chairperson and chief executive officer of the Law Reform Commission of Liberia, a government institution, presents a clear conflict of interest and threatens the independence and integrity of the bar. Former Vice President Joe Howard Taylor has expressed deep appreciation toward the leadership of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, for its continued commitment over the past 25 years. Speaking at ECOWAS Female Parliamentarians Association in Abuja, Nigeria, the former Liberian Vice President emphasized that although much has been achieved, there is still significant work to be done to expand women's access, influence, and meaningful participation in governance across ECOWAS region. Madam Joa Howard Taylor highlighted the need for minimum threshold of women's representation, urging political systems and parties to adopt clear requirements that ensure women are not only included but are able to contribute effectively. She stressed that without genuine commitment, institutions risk repeating the same governance mistakes made in the past. District 10 Representative Yaka Koluba has criticized House Speaker Richard Kuhn and Deputy Speaker Thomas Falla for failing to extend condolences following the death of his mother. Representative Yaka Koluba noted that several national leaders, including former Liberian President George Weah, former Speaker Fonati Kofa, CDC Secretary General Jefferson Koji, Senate Pro Tem Yombi Kanga Lawrence, and Unity Party Chairman Luther Tape had reached out to sympathize with him during his loss. Speaking Wednesday when supporters of the Coalition for Democratic Change visited him at his residence, Representative Yaka Koluba said he had informed members of the House of Representatives about his mother's passing through their official chat room, but claimed that one colleague responded dismissively, suggesting he was merely seeking financial assistance. Representative Yaka Koluba added that he intends to formally address the matter when what he described as neglect by the House leadership after completing a 2-month period of mourning. On Tuesday, serious tension erupted in session after lawmakers observed the appearance of proxies of SOEs as heads who were earlier scheduled to appear for the 2026 National Draft Budget hearings. Instead of heads of SOEs appearing in person, the leadership sent proxies to address critical national budgetary concerns, something members of the House of Representatives described as disrespectful and deliberate attempt to evade accountability. According to several lawmakers, the absence of the principal administrators undermines the legislature efforts to understand why key revenue generating institutions have failed to remit funds to the national budget. The lawmakers insisted that only the heads of those entities can provide accurate explanation for the ongoing revenue shortfall. The situation sparked a heated exchange on the floor, with some legislators calling for punitive action against SOEs that continue to ignore legislative summons and accountability measures. The Liberia National Police Tuesday received a new supply of high-performance Samsung tablets donated by the International Development Law Organization with support from the United States government aimed at enhancing crime data collection and digital reporting nationwide. The devices are expected to improve the management and documentation of trafficking in person cases across Liberia. Delivering the item, IDLO country manager Chiologo Oka commended the strong partnership between the organization and LMP, supported by the U.S. Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs since 2018, which continues to advance investigations, expand TIP awareness, and strengthen the quality of trafficking data. Speaking at the handover ceremony, U.S. Chargé Affairs Joseph Sadronin praised IDLO leadership and reaffirmed the United States commitment to supporting Liberia's rule of law institutions. And the opposition Alternative National Congress has expressed disappointment in what it described as unity party government continued failure to address key national concerns. In a statement issued this week, ANC accused the government of failing to improve the Liberian economy that will cater to the bread and butter issue of ordinary citizens. According to the opposition political party, instead of channeling time, resources, and political energy into acquiring and expanding its party headquarters across the country, the government should focus on improving the economy. The statement emphasized that countless Liberians are struggling with rising prices of commodities, unemployment, failing health sector, deteriorating infrastructure, and a stagnant economy, noting that the Unity Party administration has chosen securing political real estate rather than providing real solutions.
Sam Andrews with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular featured here on King's Newsroom. What if you just joining us a reminder? You're listening to King's Newsroom, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025, and I'm Newton Tokpa presenting stories we're following this evening. Head of Liberia's parliamentary dedication to ECOWAS, Senator Edwin Snow calls for stronger measures to ensure sustainability and protection of democratic governance across the sub-region. Terms Guinea-Bissau military takeover as threat to democracy. Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission resumes prosecution of religious officials accused of misappropriating funds allocated for the 2022 National Population Housing Census. NAMO Partners Executive Director Eddie Jawolo endorses Senator Darius Dillon's proposed bill calling for the reduction of all lawmakers' salary from US $8,000 to $5,000 monthly, urges Liberians to petition their lawmakers to support the bill. Away from Liberia, Kenya's parliament has accused British soldiers of decades of sexual abuse, killings, human rights violations, and environmental destruction while training in the country. These are stories to follow me here this evening on King's Newsroom. We are taking a very short break to be back with voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back and thanks for rejoining. On this development now, the head of Liberia's parliamentary dedication to ECOWAS, Senator Edwin Snow, has emphasized the urgent need for stronger measures to ensure the sustainability of peace and the protection of democratic governance across the sub-region. Senator Snow remarks followed the November 26th military coup in Guinea-Bissau, during which the military announced that they have seized full control of the country. Addressing ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja, Nigeria, Senator Snow condemned the military takeover in Guinea-Bissau, describing it as a threat to democratic stability in West Africa.
Mr. Ibala was taken from his presidential palace, escorted to the airport by the very military, put in a private jet, and sent off to Senegal. But he was overthrown and arrested. But members of the opposition, the main opposition leader, Domingo, the candidate in the election, because that they were all arrested by the military. Our fellow ECOWAS parliamentarian have been arrested. So how can this be a military coup or the military only arresting the opposition? And Mr. Mbalo and members of his cabinet are benefiting from what we call a coup. I will close my speech to tell you, as chairman of the Committee on Political Affairs, Peace, Security, and the African Peer Review Mechanism of the ECOWAS Parliament, I can stay here on the oath and tell you that it was not a coup in the South. It was orchestrated by Mr. Ibalo, and ECOWAS was encouraged Congo, where Mr. Ibalo is, putting under pressure to correct the situation in this country. But even in Congo, I'm told he's in contact. He's in contact with the military, he's in contact with some members in this parliament here today. It's unfair for that coup, and this parliament should condemn it to the highest level as submitted. Thank you.
He's Bomi County Senator Edwin Melvin Snow. They're speaking. The Solidarity and Trust for a New Day has vowed to resist any attempt to detour its peaceful protesters from staging protests on the road between the Executive Mansion and the Capitol building on December 17 in Monrovia. STAN's national chairman, Moba Modu, said no amount of negotiation, hot water tanks, and bullets from the Liberian National Police will deter the December 17 protests from taking place at the property of the Liberian people. Molu, during the press conference on Tuesday, argued that if the group staged protests against the proliferation of dangerous substances could be allowed on stage protests on the road.
We are coming outside on December 17th in most capitals of different countries, especially in Montserrado, where thousands of Liberians will turn out from 6 a.m. on the 17th of December at the premises of the Executive Mansion to peacefully make demands that are consistent with the Constitution of the Republic that gave citizens the right, the constitutional obligation to require of their governors or their state actors the need to take proactive democratic actions or reform when their safety or their security so requires. The safety and security of Liberians at this time requires the need for a peaceful and not violent democratic revolution in Liberia. That revolution begins on December 17, and it is irreversible. And once it is initiated, it will not be cut off until Joseph Yimon Boakai will make the wise decision to listen to the demands of the people and commence a scrupulous process to implement all the demands that will be contained in our assembly on that day. We will be very peaceful, we will be law-abiding, but we will be fearless, and we will converge at the Executive Mansion. And the decision of the people to converge at a property that is a custody of the citizens will not be negotiated. It will not be negotiated and will not be deterred. No by tear gas canisters, no by hot water trucks of our police bullets. On December 17, we will not be detoured. We will not be turned around. We will not take no for an answer. The Liberian people in the thousands, possibly in the tens of thousands, will converge right before the front yard, the front pavement of the executive mansion, because that place is the property of the people, and the people will not be denied the right to converge on their property. Any justification to the contrary that will seek to deny the people their right to converge at that very spot will not only be contested, but will be resisted, will be fought with every ounce of our blood, ideologically, of course peacefully, because it is by precedence that citizens can be allowed to assemble at that very spot. And we will not be denied our rights because we are Liberian citizens.
He's the national chairman of the Solidarity and Trust for a New Day, Moba Molude speaking. District number 10 Representative Yeke Koluba has criticized the House Speaker Rachel Kuhn and Deputy Speaker Thomas Fowler for failing to extend condolences following the death of his mother. Representative Koluba noted that several national leaders, including former President Josh Wiyat, former Speaker Funati Kufa, Jefferson Koji, Senate Pro Tempore Yombli Kanka Lawrence, and Unity Party Chairman Luto Tape had reached out to sympathize with him during his loss. Speaking on Wednesday, when supporters of the Coalition for Democratic Change visited him at his residence, Representative Koluba said he had informed members of the House of Representatives about his mother's passing to their official chat room, but claimed that no one colleague responded, suggesting he was merely seeking financial assistance.
I decided not to talk politics for the next 2 months. But let me say this to the Liberian people. Since my mother died, I posted in the chat room of the House of Representatives, Mr. Kuhn, the Regime Speaker, Mr. Thomas Fowler, the Regime Deputy Speaker, had never placed a call to me. And they said they are honor the instruction of Mr. Bwakai not to place a call to me. But it's not going to move me. In our chat room, one of the Regime lawmakers posted in the chat room of the House of Representatives. I announced that my mother is there because I want to look for money. It is okay. I will respond to him at the appropriate time. And when I respond to him, the Liberian people will feel and see my response. And in responding to him, I will respond to a lot of people at the appropriate time. And my response will be very dirty. That the earth will not be able to hold my response. Anybody that want to come to respond to my response will feel the weight of the opposition. We want to say a very big thank you. We were on Saturday when my mother passed out. I received a call from the former president, Ambassador George Manuel Weah. I received a call from the former vice president, Madam Joel Howard Taylor. Wow. And I also saw on that ground member of the opposition, Kalasco was there. And since the passing of my mother, the only part I've seen at the black of the opposition, I saw the former speaker, he came here. I got a call from a few members of the executive on their own. I got a call from the Prote. I got a call from Darius Dillon. I got a call from the Port Managing Director. I got a call from the former Finance Minister, Honorable Twe. He called me. We want to say to you people that we are members of the opposition, will not be deterred. Nothing will take us from the opposition. I want to say to members of the opposition that nothing. I wrote a communication to the House of Representatives. Let me just say this. In the 2024 budget and the 2025 budget, I have not received money for district number 10. The people have refused to give the district money for development. People are asking, what have you done for district number 10? You should be asking the government, what have you given to the representative for district number 10? If I get, I will deliver. My salary is not for me and district number 10 in my family. And I will always say this. Let them do what they can do. We will respond at the appropriate time. Senior comrade, I want to say to you and the opposition here, I really appreciate you people, and we will work together to ensure that the Unity Party become a history component.
He's Montserrat County District Number 10 Representative Yeke Kolobade speaking. The ruling Unity Party has announced that none of its partisans will be allowed to use the NTA buses for transport purposes during the party December 6th homecoming and fundraiser program. The announcement was made Tuesday during the Youth Congress. National Chairman and Deputy Managing Director of National Transit Authority Toka Sifos said NTA management has reached a decision through a proposal presented by him to disallow usage of the buses for the party events. According to him, auxiliaries of the United Party have been found in the habit of requesting usage of the government-run buses during party activities, something he said would not be allowed no matter how much is offered as rental fee.
I made a case to the senior management that NTA will not go at the Unity Party headquarters. We're not going to accept money for anybody for Unity Party that will come and rent bus. Let me say this on the radio. I said that because even if the people come and pay times to the price, opposition people will still say NTA people get a bus free. So they get money to rent a bus. Let it go look for K.B. That will be a means of investing in the private sector to really help the other people make some money on that day. NTA bus will not be going to that part. Majority of our senior management. So before this decision came, there was some auxiliary group that rented 2 of those buses from I think the Kakata Makidi area. And because they are already paid, we don't want to refund their money to disenfranchise them. They already pay for the service before that particular decision came about. So only those group of people that will use that bus, 2 of those buses. Besides that, any other bus you see around Unity Party headquarters, maybe you are passing the road and trap people. No NTA bus going there. We don't want. The next thing people will get, besides them paying for the bus, people will be already excited, jumping in the bus here and there, and then they get something broken. So we are not sending NTA bus there. Yeah, we're not sending. They want bus, they want this one bus, they want bus, no fire want bus, the other people want bus. We will farm other means. Our people will transport themselves through other means. We will not use that. We're not giving it to Unity Party people. Yes, because maybe they travel somewhere over, and then we get worse. So you might not see us. They were going to charge us. They got a right to carry all the cost because they already pay for the service ahead of time. And if we have means of delivering the service, we should deliver the service. This is why at this point we say we are not renting buses to any other group that will come.
He's the Youth Congress National Chair, Toka Sivos, there speaking. What if you just joining us with the time half past the hour? A reminder, you're listening to King's Newsroom, the 45-minute news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest afterward. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025, and I'm Newton Tokpa presenting stories we following this event. Head of Liberia's parliamentary dedication to ECOWAS, Senator Snow calls for stronger measures to ensure the sustainability and protection of democratic governance across the sub-region. Terms Guinea-Bissau military takeover as threat to democracy. Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission resumes prosecution of religious officials accused of misappropriating funds allocated for the 2022 National Population and Housing Census. NAMO Partners Executive Director Eddie Jawole endorses Senator Darius Dillon's proposed bill calling for the reduction of all lawmakers' salaries from US $8,000 to US $5,000 monthly, urges Liberians to petition their lawmakers to support the bill. And away from Liberia, Kenya's parliamentary has accused British soldiers of decades of sexual abuse, killings, human rights violations, and environmental destruction while training in the country. These are stories we're following here this evening on King's Newsroom. We are taking another short break. When we come back, we continue with more voices on the program. Thanks for rejoining. On this development now, CDC Brown County chapter is set to break grounds for the construction of its new party headquarters on Saturday, December 6th in Banga. Speaking to reporters at the proposed groundbreaking site, James Tower Zwanan, acting chairman of the CDC in Brown County, said the initiative is being fully undertaken by partisans in the county. He noted that the party in Brown County is determined to build a permanent headquarters without delay after years of operating for rented facilities. Zwanan emphasized that the CDC remains a formidable force to reckon with across the political landscape of Liberia, noting that the party stands firm ahead of 2029 general and presidential elections.
So my name is James Towers Ron. I'm the county chair of the Mighty Congress of Democratic Change. So this is where we hope to build the party headquarters. You know, from concept, the party have been renting to buildings around. So we start making our own in this place we do for the party headquarters in this land. To be owned by the Congress of Democratic Change. So those who are voting to go the Congress of Democratic Change, things are going to be very okay with supporters who will give all their input, who are fully all sharing into this. So they are doing very good with it. They are been so wonderful. Because of that, we are reaching this level. So they will be clearing. Months from now, you come here and see, you know, a gigantic building here. At this place, we look like a little city, palace. Trust me. So, yeah, this will be the party here. But once you don't want to see CDC, okay, you have to close your eyes and park.
He's the acting chairman of CDC Brown County chapter Zwana. They are speaking. Former Vice President Dr. Joe Hawatilo has expressed deep appreciation to the leadership of the Economic Community of West African States for their continual commitment over the past 25 years. Speaking at ECOWAS Female Parliamentarians Association in Abuja, Nigeria, the former Liberian Vice President emphasized that although much has being achieved, there is still significant work to be done to expand women's access, influence, and meaningful participation in governance across the ECOWAS region. But until who has been invited by heads of ECOFIPA highlighted the need for minimum thresholds for women's representation, urging political systems and parties to adopt clear requirements and ensure women are not only included but are able to contribute effectively.
I believe as we go towards the next 25 years, we should work hard to strengthen and harmonize gender parity legislation so that it becomes a mandatory requirement. This issue has to be raised from the ECOWAS parliamentarian level to the heads of states, because in the end, they are the ones who are actually governing the state. And if they don't have a commitment to do it, then it's just no talk. We must build strong leadership pipelines for women, institutionalizing mentorship, partnering at all levels so our young women can actually get a chance to come in and get trained, get the necessary skills. And politics is a scientific game. How do we learn to play that scientific game? It's not about how I feel, it's about the numbers shown. Women have to be shown how to calculate the numbers to make sure they can win that game. We must reform political party structures for equal access, as I said earlier, and require parties to implement internal gender quotas. We must shift social norms, public campaigns. We should ensure financial security support for women candidates. This has been a theme I've been talking about for the last 15 years. Where can we get money for where can we get financial support for entering public office? It's become so expensive now, it is really funny. A woman must decide if she has $1 to either continue to send her children to school or get into public politics. It's a tough choice. Whether to put money aside for education, or care, or food, or getting into public politics. So in most instances, you'll find that women who have to make that choice, make the choice for the family, and they are left outside of the circle. The issue of financial security and support for people candidates cannot be overlooked. And as a campaign year for ECOFIPA to get their own budget, We hope that they will take their plea here for an ECOWAS release democracy support fund that will help them once you go through all of the processes and you're actually on the ballot. There should be some support coming from ECOWAS countries to help with the candidates stay in the process as needed. I always like to talk about human because they're fiction that I always say they will help with the candidates, but what they do is really not really something that we appreciate because the fact is,
She's former Vice President of Liberia, Chief Dr. Joao Taylor there speaking. The Liberian National Police on Tuesday received a new supply of high-performance Samsung tablets donated by the International Development Law Organization with support from the U.S. government aimed at enhancing crime data collection indicator reporting nationwide. The devices are expected to improve the management and documentation of trafficking in persons cases across the country, delivering IDLO country manager Shiyu Longo Oko commended stronger partnership between IDLO and LMP supported by the U.S. Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs since 2018, which continues to advance investigations, expand TIP awareness, and strengthen the quality of trafficking data.
This donation is part of our efforts over time to support the capacity of institutions involved in the TIP response. We have been supporting the police since 2018 and working directly with them to enhance the investigation of cases. We do this also specifically with the information tech inception along with the TIP. We have carried out several trainings in capacity development initiatives over time across the country, and we have depended on the Liberian National Police Department as well. Because I do not think that the results that we have achieved that are possible without the willingness and the participation and contribution of the LNC. And this is not, I'm happy to see that this our initiative has not been focused in Cambodia, but it's been very decentralized in all across the country. Over the past year, we've been very intentional around increasing awareness in trafficking persons, again, across the country. And last year, rolled out a national education.
Speaking at the handover ceremony, U.S. Embassy Sashi Affairs Joe Zajunin praised IDLO's leadership and reaffirmed the United States' commitment to supporting Liberia's rule of law institutions.
The so-called 2026 national budget is a bloated 1.211 billion revenue projection. It's not a plan.
It's an honor to be here with you today as we continue to strengthen our partnership and deepen our shared commitment to justice and security. I want to begin by commending IDLO for its outstanding work in delivering U.S. government-sponsored law enforcement programs here in Liberia. I also want to recognize UNDP for its important contribution to establishing the Crime Statistics Information System, the CSIS, which laid the foundation for today's initiative. This handover builds on the progress by expanding CSIS, in capturing trafficking in persons cases and ensuring even more comprehensive and credible crime reporting. To the Liberian National Police, I extend my respect and gratitude. Dedication, professionalism, and sacrifices you demonstrate every day.
Also speaking, LMP Inspector General Gregory Coleman expressed gratitude to IDLO, the U.S. government, and UNDP for their continued support. He emphasized that the new digital tools would modernize police operations and bolster Liberia's national response to human trafficking.
A few days ago, the president was celebrated in West Africa terrorism in the Chad Basin. And absolutely no country in West Africa is immune at this point in time. The need for us to transition to more informed human solutions by data analytics and everywhere data. And at this point in time, investigation is extremely critical because we're moving beyond just working as a unit and looking into the sub-region and seeing how we can bring together countries that are better each other to reduce further risk factor of transmission of organized crime, bringing our resolve and operating as one with the CSIS network. It is our hope that what the UNDP and the US government have provided for us do not remain.
Hayes Police Inspector General Gregory Komode speaking. Away from Liberia, Kenya's parliament has accused British soldiers of decades of sexual abuse, killings, human rights violations, and environmental destruction while training in the country. The report detailed horrifying testimony from communities in Laikipia and Samburu counties near the military training bases. The British soldiers are accused of evading accountability by refusing to cooperate with the parliamentary investigation. For decades, troops from the British Army Training Unit in Kenya have been training in Central Kenya, but their presence has long attracted controversy, with soldiers accused of misconduct and rights abuses. More than 1,000 Kenyan soldiers receive British training each year, while thousands of UK troops are sent to Kenya for training exercises. On that note, I would like to go home this evening on this edition of the program King's Newsroom, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest afterward. But just before we go home this evening, let's remind you of stories we've been following. Head of Liberia's parliamentary dedication to ECOWAS, Senator Edwin Snow calls for stronger measures to ensure the sustainability and protection of democratic governance across the sub-region terms Guinea-Bissau military takeover as threat to democracy. Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission resumes prosecution of latest officials accused of misappropriating funds allocated for the 2022 National Population and Housing Census. NAMOT Partners Executive Director Eddie Jaulo endorses Senator Darius Dillon's proposed bill calling for the reduction of all lawmakers' salary from US $8,000 to US $5,000 monthly, urges Liberians to petition their lawmakers to support the bill. And away from Liberia, Kenya's parliament has accused British soldiers of decades of sexual abuse, killings, and rights violations and environmental destruction while training in the country. These are stories we follow here on King's Newsroom. Sam Andrews was here with the news bulletin, while Melvin Va sat at controls and coordinated the sounds. I would like to say many thanks to all of our reporters, correspondents, and news editors who helped in making this package. Our sources, my name is Newton Tupa. Thanks for listening and watching. Good evening.